cheat on your wife, that makes you a SUED. Let's just start there, full stop. But if you want to be a SUED, then you can go cheat on your wife at a concert where you're liable to be put on a massive camera in front of everyone, tens of thousands of people here in Boston.
I feel like this isn't a good way, and if you're gonna get caught cheating, it shouldn't be like this.
Well, maybe he should have thought of that before he was cheating.
Watching this.
Yes. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure.
That's a Coldplay concert, and it is the most viral clip on the internet.
It betrays a lack of respect for any sort of judgment, but also for a basic value system.
Kiss Cam is known for its heartwarming moments, but it caught an awkward one at a Coldplay concert. It zoomed in on a couple cuddling, but internet sleuths were quick to work out why they didn't want to be seen.
They don't even get caught if they're just both at the concert together. They only get caught because they're openly canoodling at the concert.
Coldplay threw a couple on the Kiss Cam. Turns out they were having an affair? I don't think even Coldplay can fix this.
Now, a US tech company boss has been suspended. That's after a viral video appeared to show him hugging a woman at a Coldplay concert. Astronomer says that its chief executive, Andy Byron, has been put on leave, although the company stopped short of confirming if he is the one captured in the footage. The video, which appears to show Byron embracing the company's HR director, was shown on a giant screen at the concert in Boston.
Forget the Epstein files. I want to see the text messages of that astronomer CEO that got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert.
If you're gonna have an affair, why would you bring her to a concert in public where everybody can see you? What if you even ran into someone you knew? Who cares about the Jumbotron? What if you ran into someone you knew? Huh?
This is pretty viral stuff. Or do we have to get HR involved? I know that HR was involved.
I would pay to be a fly on the wall in the office.
Oh, she's talking to her friend. That's her friend.
I'm not quite sure.
She whips her back to the camera.
Yeah.
And he actually bends down to get out of like squatting to get out of the sight. Honestly, they should have listened to me. Look, well, he's really hugging her. It's tight.
Yeah, you just lean in. You have to lean in at that point.
Right?
But apparently, this couple will not be fans of Coldplay for long.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
And can we talk about the employee that was with them? She obviously knows what's going on because she's there.
It started with a single moment on the Jumbotron, a packed Fenway Park. Coldplay in the middle of a glowing, magical night. The crowd was swaying under a sea of yellow lights, blissfully unaware that a single camera pan was about to spark a scandal no one could have predicted.
It's time to kiss it goodbye. Baseball is probably not the only thing you can say that about.
I think that the actual star of this story, though, is Chris Martin, who decides, given an opportunity here, to let these people off the hook and just let the camera move along, to suggest explicitly that these people are either having an affair. I mean, seriously? You just throw the fans under the bus who paid their hard-earned money for these tickets?
The iconic kiss. Cam slowly swept across the stadium, landing on a couple seated just a few rows up from the field. At first, the scene looked sweet. Two people leaning close, sharing what seemed like a quiet, intimate moment amid 65,000 strangers. And then came the joke that would change everything. Chris Martin, smiling from the stage, teased into the microphone. Either they're having an affair, or they're just very shy. The crowd roared with laughter. Fans cheered. It seemed harmless. One of those playful, fleeting moments that makes live concerts so unforgettable. But in the blink of an eye, the cameras caught something else. The couple's body language shifted. They pulled apart, glancing nervously around as if the entire stadium had just exposed a secret they weren't ready to share.
Oh, look at these two.
In a moment, these lovers won't ever forget.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
And one the world can't stop talking about.
I'm not quite sure what to do. Did we rumble in?
Kiss Cam at a Coldplay gig in Boston, and their reactions said it all. They had something to hide.
Oh, I hope we didn't do so bad.
Chris Martin knew it, the internet did too.
Within hours, that clip would be everywhere. Millions of views on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Office group chats lit up. Reddit threads exploded with theories. Memes labeled it the Coldplay affair before anyone even knew who the people on that screen were. And when the internet finally connected the dots, the story became bigger than anyone expected.
Well, good call from the lead man there, because it turns out that they were, in fact, probably having an affair.
I feel bad for so many people involved in this. Like, Chris Martin is one of the sweetest guys. I'm a huge Coldplay fan. Like, really a genuinely sweet guy who's trying to do the world better. He's trying to showcase people having loving moments. And it sure looks like these two are in love, Kim. Very, very confident in such a public space. Yeah. You would think they're a couple. Would you not, Kim?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think
because that wasn't just any couple. It was Andy Byron, the CEO of Astronomer, a billion-dollar tech company that proudly preached ethics, integrity, and zero tolerance for inappropriate workplace relationships. And next to him, Kristen Kitt, the company's head of HR. What happened that night didn't just spark gossip. It triggered a chain reaction that would spiral into a corporate nightmare, threaten careers, and even draw Chris Martin himself into the crossfire. And the craziest part? That moment on the kiss cam was just the beginning.
He did so many things wrong. I mean, the very first thing is, and look, I've never cheated on my wife. I'm not cheating on my wife. I love you, baby. It's her birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm great. But if I did it, to borrow a phrase from O.J. Simpson, I sure as hell am not going to take my side chick to a stadium with 65,000 strangers.
Clip hit the internet like a lightning bolt. It started with a single tweet, just a 15-second video from a Coldplay fan at Fenway Park. The caption read, "Chris Martin just caught an affair live on the kiss cam." By the next morning, it had been retweeted over 100,000 times. Instagram meme accounts grabbed it. TikTok edits appeared overnight, complete with dramatic slow-mo and captions like, "When your side hustle gets caught on the Jumbotron." Within hours, everyone from tech insiders to late-night comedians had seen the clip. Reddit lit up with speculation. On RE2RC's corporate drama, users zoomed in on the couple's reaction frame by frame. Look how she whips her head around when she notices the camera. He ducks down like he's trying to vanish. Guilty Energy 101. Another user dug up screenshots of an internal company holiday party, posting side-by-side comparisons. Same guy, same woman, too close at the office too? By midday, the clip had evolved from a funny concert moment into a full-blown investigation. Internet sleuths weren't just laughing, they were digging. Fans scoured LinkedIn, Instagram, and company websites. And then came the bombshell. The man in the video wasn't just any random guy at a concert. It was Andy Byron, CEO of Astronomer, a rising star in the tech world. And the woman beside him, Kristen Kitt, Astronomer's head of HR. The irony was impossible to ignore. A company that had spent years building a reputation on trust and respect, now suddenly facing a PR disaster over a viral 15-second hug. Even worse, Astronomer's own website proudly featured Andy talking about corporate ethics just days before the concert. Now that same video was being shared alongside clips of him ducking the kiss cam like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. As the hours ticked by, memes flooded the internet. One viral post showed a Coldplay concert ticket with a disclaimer added, "Warning, attending may end your career." Another featured Chris Martin holding a divorce papers prop on stage. But this was no longer just about jokes and memes. Something bigger was brewing. Astronomer employees were quietly starting to talk. Slack channels buzzing with whispers. Was this real? Was there already office gossip? And if so, how long before the board got involved? Because one thing was clear. This wasn't just an awkward hug anymore. This was a corporate scandal in the making. Inside Astronomer, the fallout hit almost immediately. By the next business day, employees arrived at the office to find their CEO trending on Twitter, not for a major product launch or an inspirational interview, but for being the star of the now infamous Coldplay affair video. Slack channels that were usually filled with project updates and customer wins had quietly shifted to private DMs and locked group chats. At first, some employees thought it had to be a misunderstanding. Maybe the camera angle was deceiving. Maybe Chris Martin's comment was just a joke. But then came the second wave of viral posts. Screenshots from the video slowed down frame by frame. One showed Andy leaning in for a tight hug. Another caught Kristen quickly turning away as soon as she noticed the camera. And then someone dug up a new piece of evidence that made things even harder to ignore. Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt arrived at the concert together. Internally, this triggered panic, not just because of the optics, but because of who Kristen was. She wasn't just another executive. She was the head of HR, the very person responsible for enforcing Astronomer's ethics policies. If the rumors were true, this wasn't just embarrassing. It could be considered a serious violation of the company's own standards. Investors started calling. Board members wanted explanations, and employees whispered about the possibility of a leadership shakeup. As one insider put it, it wasn't just the hug, it was the hypocrisy. Andy had just told us in an all-hands meeting that our company holds itself to the highest standards, and then we see this. To make matters worse, late-night talk shows picked up the story. One host joked, Coldplay might have just uncovered the hottest tech scandal of the year. Forget AI, this is a-yee-yee. But the most devastating blow was yet to come, because while the internet was laughing, Andy Byron wasn't. Behind the scenes, he was furious. He didn't just feel embarrassed, he He felt targeted, and his next move would turn an awkward viral moment into a full-blown crisis. By the middle of the week, the story had fully escaped Andy Byron's control. The clip wasn't just trending, it was snowballing. Meme accounts were posting hourly. TikTok detectives were releasing multi-part investigations, zooming in on body language, tracking their seating location, even cross-referencing other concert footage. And every new post pushed the same narrative. The CEO caught on the kiss cam with his HR director wasn't just awkward, it was scandalous. Inside Astronomer, the tension was at a breaking point. Employees whispered about favoritism, hypocrisy, and whether the company's celebrated culture of integrity had just been exposed as a facade. Investors weren't laughing either. They were worried. Every hour the clip stayed viral was another hit to the company's reputation. And that's when Andy decided to fight back. Reports surfaced that he was considering legal action, not just against random internet roasts, but against Chris Martin and Coldplay themselves. He allegedly felt humiliated and blindsided, claiming that Chris's joke had crossed a line, and turned an ordinary hug into a viral scandal that could ruin his career. Sources close to Andy leaked that he told his team something along the lines of, "I should have been warned. They don't have the right to broadcast me like that without consent." But here's where the story took a twist. According to insiders familiar with Fenway Park's concert policies, Andy's argument was gone on arrival. Every fan walking into the venue passes a huge sign at the entrance stating that all attendees may be filmed and that the footage can be used publicly. It's standard at most big concerts. Even worse for Andy, Chris Martin's off-the-cuff comment fell squarely under artistic freedom. Performers joke about crowd moments all the time. For Coldplay, it was part of the concert experience. To the public, this wasn't a malicious attack. It was just playful banter. So, while Andy's legal team quietly explored options, the court of public opinion was already handing down its verdict, and it wasn't on his side. Twitter users roasted the idea of a lawsuit. Imagine suing Coldplay for exposing your side quest. He's about to lose in court and in marriage. But if Andy thought the legal angle would scare people into silence, he was wrong. Instead, his threats poured gasoline on the fire. News outlets picked up the story again, portraying him as defensive and thin-skinned. Memes doubled. Late-night shows delivered new punchlines. And yet, behind the laughter, the real danger wasn't online anymore. It was in the boardroom, because Andy's reaction wasn't just damaging his reputation publicly, it was raising alarm bells internally. Board members started asking, why is he so desperate to shut this down? What is he trying to hide? The internet thought this was just a joke. Astronomer knew better, and things were about to get even worse. As the legal talk fizzled, the internet went into overdrive. Reddit threads multiplied, with users treating the Coldplay affair like a true crime case. Every frame of the video was dissected, every movement analyzed. Some fans compared it to catching a glitch in the Matrix. Look at the exact second she notices the camera. Her whole body freezes. He literally ducks like he's dodging a sniper. Bro knew he was finished. But then, online investigators started digging deeper, and what they found gave the story a new life. Someone unearthed company event photos from Astronomer's holiday party. In one, Andy and Kristen were seated suspiciously close. In another, Andy's hand rested just behind Kristen's chair, subtle enough to miss at a glance, but now, under the internet microscope, it was evidence. Then came Instagram posts. Kristen's account had a few cryptic captions that suddenly seemed loaded with double meaning. One, from 3 months prior, read, "Some nights are unforgettable." Reddit exploded. Oh, she meant Fenway Park, huh? She was manifesting the kiss cam. Meanwhile, inside Astronomer, employees were in full gossip mode. Slack DMs flew back and forth. Screenshots of the viral posts circulated in private chats. People wondered aloud whether this had been an open secret all along. Some even whispered that this wasn't the first time Andy's relationship with Kristen had raised eyebrows. And here's where the story went from bad to catastrophic. A former employee, posting anonymously, claimed that there had been quiet speculation about Andy and Kristen months before the concert. No proof, just rumors. But now, paired with the viral video, it looked dangerous. Investors and board members saw the same thing the internet did. A CEO who had built his brand on integrity and ethics, an HR director responsible for enforcing company policy, and a viral video suggesting the exact opposite. Internally, whispers of an ethics review began. Board members scheduled emergency meetings, and one source revealed that even Kristen herself started considering resignation, realizing that her position might be beyond repair. What had started as a funny 15-second clip was now a corporate crisis with real consequences. But the wildest twist was still to come, because just as the story began to plateau online, fans discovered one more piece of evidence, and it would completely change the narrative. By this point, the internet had officially turned on Andy Byron. The CEO who had spent years building a reputation as a visionary leader was now the unwilling star of endless memes and TikToks. What was once a playful viral moment had transformed into a symbol of hypocrisy, an executive who preached about ethics while seemingly breaking the very rules his company stood for. The backlash was savage. Twitter threads roasted his rumored legal threats, joking that he was trying to sue sue Coldplay for playing Cupid. Instagram reels looped his panicked duck on the kiss cam with captions like, "CEO tries to hide from his own conscience." And on Reddit, users weren't just laughing, they were dissecting his behavior, sharing supposed inside info, and compiling timelines of suspicious interactions between Andy and Kristen. Public sympathy was non-existent. To most, Andy looked like a powerful man caught red-handed and now scrambling to avoid consequences. But inside Astronomer, the situation was far from funny. Investors were on edge. Board members, who had previously admired Andy's leadership, now saw his credibility crumbling. Employees were losing faith in the company's culture. Some had even started sending anonymous emails to HR, ironically led by Kristen Kitt, asking whether company policies still applied to top executives. As one anonymous employee later told a reporter, it wasn't just about the hug, it was about what it meant for all of us. If leadership isn't living the values they demand from us, what does that say about the company? Behind closed doors, Astronomer's board began holding emergency meetings. Discussions of a possible internal ethics review surfaced, and Kristen, once a rising star at the company, reportedly considered stepping down, knowing her ability to lead HR had likely been compromised. Meanwhile, Andy's response only made things worse. He had gone from threatening legal action to suddenly going silent, vanishing from social media, and refusing to make any public statement. For a CEO of a billion-dollar company, that silence spoke volumes. But then came the moment that reignited the firestorm. Fans uncovered a new photo, one taken hours before the Coldplay concert. It showed Andy and Kristen arriving together, walking side by side through Fenway Park, long before the infamous kiss cam moment. The internet pounced. They didn't just get caught in an awkward hug. They were a couple all night. This was never random. They came together. They knew exactly what they were doing. The discovery confirmed what many already suspected. This wasn't an innocent misunderstanding. This was a full-blown scandal, and now there was visual proof to back it up. And for Astronomer, that meant one thing. Damage control was no longer optional. The revelation of the pre-concert photo changed everything. In the eyes of the internet, Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt were now officially caught. The narrative shifted from speculation to near certainty. Social media posts exploded with captions like, "Confirmed the Coldplay affair is real," and "Fenway Park, where careers go to fade." Even media coverage came up. What began as a funny viral clip was now headline news, with outlets framing it as a corporate scandal and a lesson in leadership failure. Inside Astronomer, the fallout reached critical mass. Employees were openly questioning whether Andy could survive the controversy. Board members quietly explored succession plans, and sources whispered about a potential leave of absence for both Andy and Kristen. HR, ironically led by the very woman in the viral clip, was reportedly flooded with internal complaints and questions about favoritism and ethics. But here's where things took an even more dramatic turn. According to insiders, Andy's legal team had already concluded there was no viable case against Coldplay. The venue had clear disclaimers, the joke fell under artistic freedom, and any lawsuit would only make the story explode further. Andy had no legal leverage, and that meant his next moves had to focus on survival, not retaliation. The scandal also started raising bigger questions outside the company. Commentators began debating the blurry line between public and private life in the digital age. Should attendees at massive concerts expect total privacy? Or does being in a public space mean any moment can go viral? And for CEOs and public figures, can one unscripted second really end a career? For Andy Byron, the answer was becoming clear. The moment the kiss cam found him at Fenway Park, his career and personal life were no longer his own. His silence only fueled speculation, while Kristen's rumored consideration of resignation hinted that the corporate fallout was far from over. By the end of the week, the Coldplay concert was long gone, but the story refused to. Inside Astronomer, employees were holding their breath, waiting for the next twist, whether it would be a public apology, a resignation, or something even more shocking. Because in a world where one camera shot can ignite a firestorm, the question everyone was asking was simple: who will face the final consequence, and how much damage has already been done? By the time the second week rolled around, the laughter had faded, but the consequences were only beginning. Andy Byron's name was still trending, not for his success as a tech CEO, but for a 15-second clip that had captured the world's attention. The Coldplay affair had gone from a viral joke to a full-scale corporate scandal, leaving Astronomer scrambling to control the narrative. Internally, the mood was grim. Employees who once admired Andy's leadership now spoke about him in hushed tones. Slack channels buzzed with uncertainty. HR, the department at the heart of the controversy, was under more scrutiny than ever. Kristen Kitt, the very person meant to uphold the company's ethical standards, was now its greatest liability. Meanwhile, Astronomer's board had begun serious discussions behind closed doors. Could Andy survive as CEO after this? Even if no policies were technically broken, the damage to the company's image was undeniable. Investors wanted answers, employees wanted accountability, and the public wanted updates. But perhaps the most ironic part of all was that Chris Martin, the man whose offhand joke had triggered the entire chain reaction, seemed completely unfazed. Coldplay's tour continued without interruption. At later shows, the kiss cam still rolled, but Chris was noticeably more careful, smiling and waving instead of commenting. It was almost like he knew the world was watching, waiting for the next spark. Yet the story refused to fade. Online, new conversations began to emerge. Where is the line between public and private in a world dominated by social media. If you're in a stadium with 65,000 people, can you ever truly expect privacy? Or does stepping into a public space mean that one camera shot can change your life forever? For Andy Byron, the answer came with a savage price. His reputation had been reduced to a meme, his leadership was under threat, and his personal life, already shattered by the viral video, now existed under a microscope, with every detail picked apart by strangers online. As for Astronomer, the company built on integrity and ethics. Its future now depended on whether its employees and investors could move past what they had seen with their own eyes. And that's where this story leaves us, with one lingering, uncomfortable question. In a world where one unscripted moment can destroy a career, who's really responsible? The camera, the crowd, or the choices we make when we think no one is watching? If you think Andy's downfall was self-inflicted, drop a comment below. Or if you think the internet went too far, let me know. Because one thing is certain, this won't be the last time a viral moment changes someone's life forever.